What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the other side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? And Chris Abercon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, Chris? So Chris came back. You were here last week, though. So you came back from vacation.
I was here last week.
There you go.
That's right.
Got to put it in the newsletter. So got to put it up front. So please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. There's a bell involved. Hit it. And then subscribe to our newsletter. So every week we put in all the episodes, embed all the videos, a one-stop shop. And in it, we have some of Chris's photos. So definitely check it out. And then came up with a thumbnail. It wasn't me, it was AI, but we'll talk about that on Friday's episode. So definitely continue to tune in for that. Without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This article comes from theregister.com, written by Connor Jones. The title of it is 3 Cups for Helping North Koreans Secure Remote IT Jobs in America. What ended up happening was there were 3 individuals that got accused of helping North Korea. What they're saying they're doing is funding the weapons program, and they're using U.S. money to do it, right? And the way they're doing it is they'll have somebody that'll come on and try to get one of these remote jobs, but the actual work is being handed off and given to somebody else in North Korea. So what's happening is the person that's pretending to be the face for these applicants is just getting a cut of it, and the rest is getting sent off to North Korea to fund whatever it may be, right? Military operations, nuclear operations, maybe get some food from somebody, you know what I mean? North Korea's struggling over there. But they got 3 people they caught with this. They had this one guy, Ming-Hwang of Bowie, Maryland. I hate for my state of Maryland to get put on the map this way, but this is how it happened. But he actually got charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, secured jobs under his own identity, which were allegedly carried out by remote North Korean workers. But he wasn't the only one. They also arrested U.S. national Christina Marie Chapman of Litchfield Park, Arizona, and she was running like a laptop farm. So what she was doing was providing, I don't want to say the environment, but she was providing the IP addresses for people to remote work that were from out of the country, that were from North Korea. And they discovered this as well. So people are getting smart about doing these types of things, man. Like, this is something that it shouldn't really surprise us, because with the onset of COVID, remote working was one of those things that was very much desirable. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants a remote job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it works so much for me. I spend too much time playing with my kids. You know what I mean? I might not be as focused as I need to be. You know what I mean? But they're very desirable to do the remote work, because you can do it from anywhere. You don't necessarily have to be in your home. You don't have to be confined to a state, wherever it may be headquartered or whatever. People can travel and just do what they want to do. So the fact that this happened wasn't surprising to me. The fact that the scale of it, like some of the stuff they mentioned in the article and how many people that were doing it, I was kind of like, wow, like that's a fair amount that's actually getting this done like this. But yeah, they got 3 people that got caught up in this and were arrested for it. But the thing that kind of trips me out is they talk about the websites that they were set up for this, and they talk about how they were clumsily set up, right? And so according to the prosecutors for this, there was awkward phrasing, poor grammar. So it's kind of like the old phishing emails, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have the proper English in it. It probably doesn't have a real name on it or anything like that. Like, it should have thrown flags. But in this day and age, what's kind of trippy about this is that AI will clean all of that up. Like, why was AI not something thought about to try to make this some more? And I'm not trying to make criminals smarter. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say that's what we're doing out here. I'm not trying to be lumped in when the DOJ starts coming for people and they're like, yep, other side of the firewall, we got you. You out here giving pointers on how people can be better criminals. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that in this day and age, and we've talked about it on here, where you see AI is just making things so much easier for criminals to get by. But they talk about it in the article how it should have been one of those things that they caught on to immediately, because the websites were so clumsily developed, is what they called them. So, but yeah, this is gonna be something that's we're going to see more of this, because I don't think the remote job thing is going away. There are some companies that were like, yeah, we'll be able to do this forever, and started bringing people back. But there will still be a segment that's going to have the remote jobs out there. So this is not going to go away. This is not going to be the first time we're going to see people cuffed, as they put it in the article, for helping out a foreign government. But Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, first thoughts for me was, one, how specifically, so Christina Chapman tried to run a server farm, a laptop, right? So with from North Korea remoting in virtual desktop, whatever, to these specific assets. So the first thing that came to mind was, what's with these companies' asset management? Right? Do they have their own centrally managed laptops, or are they getting these remote jobs from this, bring your own device? There's some rules like that, right? So it really depends on the job. But that was the first thing that came to mind, and then really the second was, what type of secure connections were they using? At least from employees for remote jobs. If they're able to remote into these specific IP assets or these specific laptops, that means to me that maybe they weren't on some type of VPN. They're not using some type of zero trust solution that requires connectivity to this specific policy enforcement point, right? So to me, I think it's just, there's a lot of questions, right? For me, one specifically, mitigation asset management. Then there's the whole physical security aspect of it. Like, hey, who tracks this stuff, right? And then another thing that came to mind was background checks, right? Who checks the job, like these people's backgrounds, right? Are these even real, people that are applying to these jobs, or something to that effect? So I think, like Shannon was saying, a lot of this stuff could have been prevented, but preemptively, if there were secure processes in place to prevent, employees, or, hey, everybody's at the same address. I'm not sure about this Christina Chapman person, but clearly there was something fishy about her operations. So yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind. How could this have been prevented? And like Shannon said, these people, like, most reading that these advanced persistent threats are getting really sneaky. They're figuring out ways to infiltrate, not just, they're creating insider threats, which is crazy. They're going right to the source, and that goes to show you how bold these people are and how really brazen their methodology is. Because really, I haven't thought about that. Like we know in the cybersecurity world about Trojan horses, social engineering, things like that. But this social engineering to another level when you've got an insider in the environment. So that's really my thoughts. I think it's wild. That's all I'm gonna say. It's wild.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't find a mute button. So before I go on, so please like, share, subscribe. Sorry, I gotta keep pandering. We're almost at 400. I think we're at like 398, 399. So the goal is 500 subscribers by the end of June. So that way we can try to push for 1,000 by the end of the year. And then once we hit 1,000, we'll have the ability to do more with the channel, more eyes on it, and then you get more capabilities. And they can start paying me for their ads. I'm starting to see ads pop up on our videos, and I get none of that. So I want a piece of it. But hit up all the websites to go by our names, either the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or ask a CISSP. But yeah, with Christina Chapman, I know a person named Christina Chapman, so I just had to Google her photo real quick to make sure it wasn't the same person. It'd be diabolical.
Diabolical, great.
So I obviously I take umbrage with them, capturing these jobs and then having people, foreign entities, work them to capture the money. But like Shannon said, it's super clever. And I'm sure if it's being done by our adversaries, it's got to be a hustle here in the States. So this is probably being done way more than we expect. Because I know people who are quote unquote overemployed, right? Meaning that they have multiple jobs that are full-time jobs because they're able to multitask or what have you, or they're not task saturated. But I would not be surprised if people were setting this up on LinkedIn to provide services where, yeah, I'll be your face and you'll be the person who's actually pulling the strings, or vice versa. Because it just makes monetary sense that this would be a thing. I just didn't expect to see it coming from North Korea. Definitely clever, but I would not be like, once they figure out how to solve this solution, if they can then take this to the States and figure out how many people are doing this, because it might not be against the law, right? Like if it's not in your statement of work or in your employee handbook that you can't be overemployed, or that you know what I mean? Like the thing would be the fraud. That would be the problem. Acting as though you're somebody else. The thing I don't quite understand though is if they're interviewing these people, because right now to get a good job, you got to go through several rounds of interviews. So were the North Koreans prepping them to go into the interview, or were the interviewers not on camera? Like, which one is it, right? Because if not on camera, that makes sense. These people can speak for themselves. Hopefully they have put on their, American accents or what have you, or not, like, because every company is supposed to hire equitably equitably.
Equitably.
The accent shouldn't hamper you unless like your customer service or something like that, where you have to be able to service specific type of people who may not be good with accents, like some Americans when they talk to customer service. But if they were not a front facing position, like if they were just in the back working engineering or something like that, then they don't need to speak. They just need to work. So, like, they're too easy.
So the thing is, so like in the article, they kind of talk about this a little bit, is that the front facing person, like there was a CEO that did do an interview with them, right? So they should passport, driver's license, but they're not the ones actually performing the work. So even though they're paying this person that was front facing, like some of that money is going off elsewhere, right? Like it's just like with any of us, right? Like we can have our money for direct deposit go wherever we need it to. Just so happens maybe it's going to North Korea or Russia or China or wherever it may be, right? But no, like one of these people was a nail salon tech. So, Chris, this goes to what you're talking about. If they did better background checks, they could have figured this out before we got to this point. Like, you're a nail salon tech. Like, explain how this all came about. Like, I didn't see this on your resume.
That's a good point. So I'm over here fighting the war against feedback. So that's why I keep cutting my mic on and off. No, it's a very interesting topic because I wouldn't have thought how to capitalize as a foreign entity to make this happen. But yeah, here in the States, I'm sure this is happening to some regard. But yeah, like Chris said, like if they're being issued a company laptop, then what's going on with your XDR solution? Like, how are you not capturing this weird traffic going through? Because as we know, VPNs can only do so much cleanup, and if you're supposed to be connecting to the company's secure VPN, then you can't. Like, is a VPN to a VPN, and how are they cleaning up their IPs? But if it's not, if it's just a bring your own device, yeah, BYOD type situation, then, I mean, sky's the limit. Like, if all you have to do is log in and use Office 365 to send out emails, then like, there's no way to capture this, except for when it starts to get weird. This person's just not acting right, or like if you try to capture them in a meeting, and you obviously see them working on nails in the background. You see somebody's feet in the water getting done up. But yeah, crazy topic. It just popped up, so I was like, you know what, we should talk about this on Monday. Get the week started right before we start talking about all the breach nonsense that follows throughout the week. So definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics. Wednesday discussion. Thursdays Ask Assist P. This week will probably be something a little bit different like last week. I am recording one on Monday with Delisha Hodo from SANS Institute. However, I want to take my time to clean up the recording. I don't want to be rushed, right? And she has to review it rushed. So we'll probably delay that one by a week just to have one in the pocket. And then Friday's everything else. So movies, books, games, all that good stuff. So we definitely have some stuff to talk about. It won't be Chris bragging about his Costa Rican trip. So I won't have to worry about anchoring the episode, bringing everybody down, right? After hearing about him. But yeah, tune in, check everything out. And then if you have not, please go back and check out our archives. We have almost 600 episodes. I think we're at 590 something with this episode. So plenty of content for you to check out. Again, we're on all of the social medias by The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. You can find me personally. I am at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. You can find me on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, IG, Twitter, TikTok, and
Say Threads.
Threads. There it is.
Yeah.
I'm never
Threads.
Yeah. And you, Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Avacon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.